Welcome to this very special episode of The Coaches Next Door. I want to introduce you to someone that I met, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and I was immediately fascinated by the energy, and after I met her, by the passion that she has for what she's doing right now. I want to introduce you to Francisca. Francisca Diaz is an international image consultant and executive presence expert. What is this all about? Well, you are going to be able to find out a little bit more how Francisca does this amazing work. She is not only looking to the image, the external image that you have. She will put an alignment between who you are and what do you want to pass to the world. Welcome to this podcast. So, good morning. And because we are recording this in the morning, okay, just for everyone to know. Good morning.
Absolutely.
It's so nice to see you again.
Good morning, Ligia. Thank you for having me. I love seeing you again. Thank you.
So, I know that you are in Portugal. So,
Absolutely.
our favorite country, probably. But I really appreciate that you took the time to speak with me, because we spoke already a couple of times, and I follow your work as well in LinkedIn. I love your videos, all your high energy. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is what I needed. Someone brings that to me immediately in the morning. So thank you so much for making the time, because I know that you also have some business appointments there. And this is a conversation. And my main intention is really to show that when we are in business and when we are basically in life, right, everything matters. So, and I believe that most part of the times people are doing things without really an intention. So they have always an intention, of course, but it's not an intentional behavior. And I think when we have an intentional behavior, an intentional decision, things can get, I will say, easier.
Yeah, they do.
Right? So you are a professional, I'm going to read it before I forget, styles and presence coach. And you are doing this in an international perspective as well. And you are doing this also as individuals, you are also doing this with a bigger impact when people are going to present. I know that you are coaching in the TEDx. So you are doing this in different contexts and also in different ways, I presume. Can you let us know how all this started and exactly what you are doing right now?
Maybe I can start. By the way, thank you for having me again. I absolutely love our conversation. So there was no chance I was going to miss this opportunity, even being in Portugal, to have a 1 hour conversation with you. So I'm very glad to be here today with you. For everyone listening, hello. Maybe I can start right at the beginning. So I started my career actually as a very nerdy person, as a master in aerospace engineering, completely different field.
Yeah.
So in a very technical, male-oriented environment. And I remember we are both located most of our time in the Netherlands, arriving at the Netherlands at the office of this big tech enterprise, feeling super inspired. Oh my God, I'm going to make technology that is going to help people around the world. Very, very naive and excited. And I look at myself in the office. I look around and I say, oh my God, what have I done? Because most of my colleagues were male and most of them were like 30 years older than me. And I said to myself, okay, I'm going to make this work. I'm not going to give up. I'm still going to make technology that is going to change the world. So I started learning stakeholder management, leadership skills, presentation skills. You name it, I did it.
Yeah.
But there were a few challenges that I kept on bumping into.
Mm.
There were people that kept questioning me more than my peers. I remember clearly stepping into a meeting saying something, nobody hearing it, and my colleague just next to me saying exactly the same thing, and people saying, yes, let's do that. I was here. I just said that. But the tipping moment happened when I do this big presentation for the whole department. And I really think, okay, this is going to make an impact.
Mm.
But nothing, hardly anything happens
Oh
afterwards.
my God. Yeah.
So I ask feedback from the one woman on the full department that was already a senior behind closed doors. And I say, can you just give me some feedback? I don't understand what just happened in here.
Yeah.
She looks at me disappointedly, Gia, and she just says, Francisca, you just look like a girl.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you just look like a girl. I thought, oh my God. Of course, I didn't express it, but I felt so mad. My
Yeah.
colleagues were walking in jeans and flip-flops, right?
Yeah.
Why would that matter? When I went home and I watched myself in the mirror, I said, she's right. I do look like a girl.
Yeah.
I'm developing my brain and I'm developing my leadership capabilities, but I'm not embodying them. And I
Mhm.
still see myself as a girl coming out of university. I'm
Yeah.
behaving like a girl coming out of university. And
Yeah.
of course, people are responding to that same energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my tipping moment. I said to myself, I have a choice to make. Either I set the intention of finding out what that power woman version of me is and embodying it, because I
Yeah.
didn't want to become a Darth Vader, businesswoman, black and white. That was not my character.
I like
or I could, or I could find out my own way. Who is Francisca, the power version of me that was developing? I did that, and from the moment I did that, my full reality shifted. I don't know if you ever watched Matrix. Did you ever?
course.
Okay.
Like
Uh,
obligatory for philosophers,
yeah,
right?
right. Yeah, exactly. It's such a rich movie, right? And for me, it was like taking the red pill from Morpheus. My full reality shifted. People that previously were challenging me were now coming to ask me for advice and for help.
Yeah.
And I felt amazing in the morning. I felt like I had a right to play. So in the meantime, develop myself to be able to do that for others, and that's what I do today.
Yeah, and it's incredible because this one thing that happens a lot with me when I'm also working with other women is a lot of this perception, and people even say to me like, yeah, but I don't know, this happened to me as a woman, and this happened to me, and this happened, and I honestly, I sometimes I say, wow, that never happened to me, you know. That never happened to me, and I honestly, I always remember this situation. I was when I was working in the corporate world, I was traveling a lot, and by myself alone, right? And I remember it was a place that I was going, and I was going always to the same hotel. And every time that I will arrive to the hotel, a lot of times was really late in the night, like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So the receptionist will come to the door to see me because I was parking the car, and he's like, "Oh, I don't like the idea of you going around, and people know you already. You come here a lot. You come with your computers." So I come to the door to just make sure that, and I said to him, "Do you see my face? Like I put a face of, like don't mess up with me." And
Yeah,
he's like,
and your energy
"And my
really
energy,
is received, right? It's like stay away.
stay away." And he looked at me like, he's right. You are right. Like, I never saw anyone messing up with you. And I was like, no, because that is
Yeah.
the thing. And I like your word of embodiment. So, because sometimes what I see is that people have a lot of ideas, people have a lot of what I want to become, but they
Yes,
forgot that cannot be only in our minds,
absolutely. I
cannot
love
be,
that you're saying that.
right?
I love that you're saying that, and that's precisely the point where I've met myself, let's say many years ago, at that moment in the mirror, and where I see many of the women I work with seeing themselves in the mirror for the first time, which is being and developing themselves immensely inside of their heads, and with this dream of blossoming and growing and being seen and making impact. But at the same time, because of lack of experience, of the intentions, and of the tools to really embody it, being able to become it in the real life, because in the end, we are human beings interacting in real life,
But
face to
also,
face.
but also this idea that it's possible, it's okay. I always say this, like we allow a lot of things, for instance, to stars, right? So we allow a lot of things to Beyonce. We allow a lot of things to Taylor, whatever. But we think this is them. And we don't say we can also do it in our own way and what represents us. So I always think that we admire sometimes a lot, but we don't say, yeah, I can also do it.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting. I love that you're giving that example because um, actually, I usually give the example of the feeling of jealousy, for instance, or envy. Whenever we feel that little sting, because it's a human emotion, right? Whenever we feel that emotion, that envy popping up, stay sharp and alert because that's an indication that your heart is desiring something that the other person is portraying. And if you're desiring it, if that desire is in your heart, that is also possible for you. It's about you recognizing it and taking the responsibility to do the things that are required in order to embodying it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. So I see a lot of your videos and you give a lot of, like, say, tips to people. Like, hey, maybe when you do this, just be aware that this could be perceived like that. So, what is your, and let's put this like this, what is your no-go at all for a woman that wants to show themselves in that power? Like my personal power, what is your no-go?
It's very dependent on the person's personality, on where they are at life, where they are and where they want to get, right? Because it's about staying authentic towards us, right? And our own essence, being able to allow that essence to stay in the open and help us propel not only win in our environment, but also win towards where we want to get. So it's very dependent person by person. But
Yeah.
there are a few things that I always recommend. The first thing is, for me, a no-go is being completely unaware of unconscious bias of others and ourselves. Being
Yeah.
completely unaware that we are, as I previously said, embodied beings, and that it's not only inside of our heads that matter. They started, of course, with the rationalist and Descartes
Yeah.
saying that I am, so I exist. I am. I believe that's a completely incomplete notion of reality that
Like,
has been
you
screwing up
know,
us for centuries.
you know what I say when people say Descartes is the father of philosophy? I say I'm orphan.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, okay. I subscribe to that. I'm an orphan too.
I'm orphan. Like as a philosopher, I could not be so far away from Descartes. And I, yeah, that's the point.
Such a reductionist way of putting in reality, right? Absolutely. So the first thing I always say, it's very important to acknowledge that we are all embodied human beings. So it's not enough to develop our brains, but we need to be able to embody, as you were previously saying, it's a very important word, what we are developing in ourselves, because otherwise the world will not see our value and we ourselves don't see it in the mirror.
Yes.
The second thing I usually say, it's a no-go. It's to live and fight against bias. It's useless to fight against bias.
Yeah.
The most powerful thing we can do is really to learn what bias is, because we are also full of it, filled with it when we
Yeah.
watch ourselves in
Exactly.
the mirror.
Exactly.
Yes, it's just a matter of becoming aware and then finding out, how can I use this? This is running for centuries on the backbone and behind the scenes in human existence. How can I use this for my own benefit and for the benefit of the community in the most powerful way? So
Yeah.
it's useless as an individual to fight it. So
Totally. I always say that,
absolutely.
and sometimes companies, they ask me like trainings about bias, and I said the workshops about bias is not to say to people that they cannot have bias, is that
No,
they
no, it's insane.
choose the bias that they have. I can choose the labels that I use, right? I cannot
Exactly.
operate my brain, and like every brain cannot operate without labels. We need names. We need to get concept. Otherwise, our brain doesn't proceed. But I can choose the labels that I use, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I knowing of the most common labels that are put associated to certain images, certain elements, I
Yeah.
can also choose to make certain intentional choices in the way I move, in the way I speak, that best portray my essence and making sure that it's received in a way that I want it to be received as well.
Yeah, I think a good example that I can give about that, about myself, is that I have tattoos, and they are not small. They are not small.
Really cool.
So, and for me, it's very clear that in some contexts, I will not show them up, at least not in the first meeting.
Yeah.
Because I think it's necessary that people know me before meeting my tattoos. Uh, so, and then most part of the times it's okay. I never had a situation that was not, but the first thing that I want them to meet is me, not my
Absolutely.
tattoos. Yeah. So that is a good example. And sometimes people say, yeah, but that is not okay because you have the right to have tattoos. Of course I have the right. That's why I have them. But I need to be aware that some contexts they have a different impact.
I love, love, love your example. It's so important to recognize because you said, I want. You are in the driver's seat of your interaction. You come into the interaction with an
Yeah.
intention, and then you choose to show the parts of you that make more sense and the opening of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
conversation. And because otherwise, as you said, it might not happen, but a risk would be that someone gets stuck in the tattoos and everything that they see about you as the tattoo and the preconceived ideas that society has on that particular setting about tattoos. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's also a distraction sometimes, because I have a message
Absolutely.
and people get like, oh, what maybe the tattoo means, and they get stuck in there and they don't listen to anything that I'm saying because they are still thinking about what is the meaning of the tattoo. And
Yes, exactly. And then flipping around with a tattoo on their brain. Indeed. I love the example you were giving as well, because one of the things that there are a lot of things that I recommend to speakers and the women that I work with. And an example, it sounds simple, but it makes a huge impact. We women, we love big hearings.
yeah,
And not all of us, but we do love hearings, right? And I never recommend people to bring big chunky hearings to a presentation, for instance, because people get mesmerized. We are animals, right? So just like a fish looking at those big sparkly things moving around, and the message gets lost in translation. So that's
or
something
even
that we need to understand.
yeah. I can give an example. One time, I give this example a lot. That one time I was in a conference and a person had a very, very important and very relevant topic, but was no one was talking about the topic, but everyone was talking about the choice of colors and the dress that this person had, and I was like, what a missed opportunity, because the my style is important, but it needs to be confirmed or a confirmation of what I'm saying and doing, right?
Absolutely. So, and there's this misconception that we only have one way of portraying our personal style.
Yeah,
So our personal style is it has an underlying essence, right, and a
yeah,
way of representing itself. But in itself, it should at least. And that's the way I build it with my clients. Should have layers that are representations of their own that essence for certain circumstances, so
yeah,
that the clothes you wear in between a closed door with your colleagues working around the table is not the same one that you will use on the stage or in the board meeting.
yeah,
So, and also the intentions are different.
yes.
So you can stay authentic but adequate within the environment at the same time. That is possible, absolutely possible.
Yes, and I also think that one of the important things is saying that we don't need to stay in the same stuff. Some people like it, right? They have the same hair, the same clothes every time.
Amen.
But we don't need to stay there. I remember that, for instance, for many years indeed, I only had black clothing. Like, yeah, okay. And then I shift for pink. And then
Way to go.
then I shift for now I'm more in the blue zone, like you can see.
Gorgeous on you, by the way. Side note.
So I'm in the blue zone right now, blue and dark green. So that is also because we change. We want different things sometimes, right?
Oh, again, very, very, very important comment what you just gave, because there is this also this notion that, okay, I made this decision to wear black in the past, and this is what people know me for, so I should always stay the same. And what happens is that we get stuck in stagnation. Having a personal style and having a personality aligned with that personal style, by consequence, means that it will shift and change with years, with the roles that you choose in your life, with the decisions you make. And it's just a sign of growth and evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For instance, I remember when I decided to go for my natural hair, because I have white hair since I'm 16. Okay, so
Oh,
this
cool.
is really my color,
Yeah,
and I
I love it.
remember that took me a while, took me some years to say, okay, this is my natural color. And it was funny because when I did it, and of course, I got like, do I will like it first of all? Do I really will like it? But of course, what will be the impact for business, and what will be the impact? People are going to think that I'm really old. But the funny thing is that when I did it, people said to me, most part of the time, people said to me, "Oh my God, you even look younger with a gray hair than when you had your all the colors that I have." And so I think sometimes it's also a little bit of courage to face our
Yes, yes.
own doubts, first of all, right?
Oh, I love. Yes, yes. Usually nature has the best solution. I usually say that, so nature has the best solution.
Yeah.
I didn't have a white hair since I'm 16, but I made a mistake before becoming an image consultant and a stylist of painting my hair platinum,
Oh,
um, blonde.
oh,
I thought, okay, I want to try it. I always wish to try it. Suffice to say, it was a hideous mistake, because every time I watched myself in the mirror, I looked like I was, I don't know, sick. It was definitely
yeah.
not my
I can
color. I'm a
imagine
cold.
you with that color.
Exactly. If you wish, one day I will show you so that we laugh together, because maybe I need to make a publication of it, because exactly,
Yeah,
it's the proof that usually nature has it right. And
yeah,
that's also why the first steps of my programs, when I work in groups and when I work with one-to-one women in my Success with Style program, is actually to acknowledge the features, the natural features that we were born with. We are talking about our skin, our bodies, our hairs, without having to compare ourselves with certain conceptions, with certain ideals. It's
yeah,
all about us.
yeah,
Because coming back to Descartes, since then there was this idea that we are only our brains, and
yeah,
that we need something else to represent ourselves. But we are not represented only for our brains and our personality. Our bodies are a full representation as well as what we are, of who we are. And the
yeah.
moment we embrace that, we have an immense power, internal power, and peace that is unlocked within us.
Yes, it's true because, for instance, I think I remember one time many years ago, a person came to me. She was a friend, and she was a director in a hotel, and uh, and she came to me and said, "Hi, Alicia, I want you to teach me and to show me how to be more feminine." Oh,
Oh,
I look at her and I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, and because for me, she was the feminine thing, like makeup, and the
interesting.
hair was always done by the hairdresser.
Gorgeously done. And
Like a Barbie, a beautiful Barbie. And I thought, what are you talking about? This is my natural style. And then she said, I never met anyone so feminine as you. And I was like,
gorgeous.
oh wow, tell me what do you see, because I don't have any clue. And one of the things that she said to me was the way that I move. the way that
Yes.
I speak and the way that I move and the way that I use my hands and the way that I use my body.
Yes.
And then
You are embodied.
and then I start realizing that that is true, because if I don't do effort, let me put it this way,
Yeah.
I move, and I think that maybe comes from the ballet that I did many years or whatever. But and that is what she saw, not my hair, messy hair and curly hair, or not having. It's very rare that I put makeup, for instance. First of all, I'm allergic. I have a lot of allergies with this stuff. But so it's
You
not.
have a beautiful complexion, by the way. Let me
Yeah.
celebrate that.
Oh,
You
thank
have
you.
a beautiful complexion. Let me celebrate that.
That means that when sometimes we have this idea, like what is feminine, what is this or what is that, that is maybe a very different thing. Or let's say we can even say I can do that not only by makeup or by hair or by the clothes that I use, but by the way that I move, by the way that I speak, by the way, right?
Absolutely. And that's why my first, when you asked me, how do you do it, right? I said, what are your no-goes? It's very
Yeah,
individual, because one solution is not the others. The personalities and the traits, even the features of each one of us are
yeah,
completely different.
yeah,
Exactly. And you have a beautifully feminine energy by nature, indeed, in the way you move, in the way you speak, in the way, exactly. Indeed. And that femininity can be translated in several ways.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And you
Indeed.
can amplify it in some moments, or you can
Tone
lower,
it down.
turn it down a little bit because you know that maybe is not necessary or even not welcome to that meeting. But let's talk about, imagine that.
Yeah,
But you know, then you can decide, right?
exactly. You are in your own driver's seat.
Yeah,
You basically claim your power back. You take it back. You say, I am in the driver's seat of my life, and I'm the one who has an intention and decides what do I wish to use from myself in here, give from myself in this meeting or
yes,
in this circumstance.
yes.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
okay, going back to how do you do this? So, imagine that you meet me for the first time. Uh, what
Lovely.
what will be that? Like, what will be what you will be looking for? And how that works? Like, are you going to give me advice? Are you going to what is going to happen?
Awesome. Okay, thank you for asking that question. So, if it's not in a setting, let's imagine we are in a one-to-one setting,
Yeah,
not in a corporate setting, or exactly in my Success with Style program, for instance. So, it's a program where we would work together quite a lot. In this case, we would. I usually structure in the following way. We start with your natural features always, your natural colors. So, based on you, your natural face, your eyes, your beautiful platinum hair, and the shapes of your body, I would teach you how to celebrate each one of these parts and how to bring color, how to bring shapes of clothing that naturally combine. Because again, like loves alike. Nature has a certain wisdom that we want to celebrate and respect. And I always bring that across so that you learn how to celebrate and how to love those parts of yourself.
oh, wow.
Then, with those, I also teach strategies, more practical. I'm an engineer by formation, right? So I have very clear formulas on how to play with color without looking like a
Ah,
clown and things like
yeah,
that. So I
yeah,
make it very practical as well.
yeah,
um, then we will step in, because now we understand you are an embodied being and you love the embodied being. You're discovering the beauty of your embodied being and how to play with it.
yeah,
Then we can step into the personality and we unlock what do people feel about you? How do they, what do they take of you when you enter a room? How does the room shift when you enter? So what is your secret sauce? We pick that up, we unlock that in, and we represent that and we unfold that in a beautiful personal style that not only represents that, and it considers, of course, everything else that we learned about the beauty, your natural beauty,
yeah,
but it helps you propel you in the direction that you also are going, right?
yeah,
When where you are at and on the direction that you're going.
yeah.
Very practical ways as well. Again, very structured by nature. So of course, as a result of the process, you will get style formulas, style steps to know what kind of formulas match what kind of circumstances in your life, but everything very aligned. And it's a process that I usually say I've built it with a lot of love.
Yeah.
So it's very nourishing and playful, and it's a very feminine, very feminine process, then
Yeah.
anchored with a lot of structure to be
Yeah.
able
So
to.
it's also so because I think the most, at least for me, I speak for myself. Sometimes the most difficult thing is not to know, is to be consistent. You know, you say,
Yes.
okay, all my decisions, like I said, it's like I'm going to buy, I want to buy stuff, right? And I say, okay, can I keep myself consistent with what I'm looking for? And I see sometimes people can do it for a little bit of time, and then it's like, okay, you know what, I'm going for my normal because this is too much. So if it's not embodiment, also that, like the bringing this to see to
Real life
yeah, yeah.
application, easy. Exactly.
Otherwise becomes like, okay, you know, like, oh, here we go
Yeah.
again.
It's
So
like a burden instead of something
yeah,
that eases and propels
yeah.
you and makes you confident. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little bit. Sometimes people find it funny because, for instance, when I entered this, I'm really when I decide like a color and okay, I'm going like this. When I enter a store, I don't see anything else. I,
Yes, that's how you
I'm,
do it.
you know, I'm
Yes.
not going like I'm not going to lose my time, but also because
Nope.
maybe I'm going to desire it, like and like this is not like for instance, sometimes people say, but I'm very fast buying. You say, yeah, of course, because I go for the color, and inside of the
Yes.
color, I go to the side. Okay, then I go to okay, what is the models, what is the style, blah, blah. But first thing is the color, right? Because I'm not going to
Yeah.
buy an orange thing.
I am very glad that you won't. Very glad.
I'm not going
Not
to
your color.
not my color. So why I'm going to lose time, going to
Yeah.
buy that or going to see that color, and then maybe do we have this in I don't know, blue or no? I said like, oh, so I get
It's not for me then. Goodbye.
yeah, you put it a little bit of also stress. But I think sometimes that
Yeah.
is when I think about people, not only yeah, but people keeping themselves like this is what I want to be doing, and saying, and yes, people, maybe I'm going to ask me if I change a lot my style, right? People maybe go, oh, what happened with you? Yeah, but this is what I want, and I will keep it.
Yeah.
Even sometimes, like you were saying, when you start working, you enter the space that no one is dressing like that, or no one is doing it
Yeah.
like that. Okay, and right?
Yeah. This is you.
Yeah,
Right. And this is what you stand
yeah,
for. And it's your choice.
yeah, yeah.
It's you
So,
standing on your power.
okay, question for you.
Tell
Um,
me.
imagine that, okay, we will start working together, and I come to you like today. I have a situation today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking about, do I cut my hair or I don't cut my hair? So I can do you support this type of decisions as well?
Oh, yes. Awesome. It's very good that you asked that specific question because, for instance, when I do the color analysis, that's the first one. We consider, of course, your fabulous face and your hair and eyes. But when I do the body analysis and the face analysis, it's the same. We pick up your beautiful hair and your beautiful face. And for instance, what do I look for? I look for the features of your face. Are you a more rounded person? For instance, I'm very rounded featured. You are more straight lined, right? Although you are still curvy, but you are more straight lined. Yeah. And you have this beautiful, lush, curvy hair, right? So what we are looking at it is the natural features of your hair and natural features of your face in order to recommend shapes of hairstyles that naturally, again, like Lisa, like the nature has its own wisdom.
Yes,
So in order to enhance the natural features of your beauty, so even choosing accessories, what kind of shapes naturally enhance you? What kind of patterns naturally? If I use squares, I'm a very rounded person. It looks very, very off very quickly. I
yeah.
look tired.
Oh,
So what kind of shapes naturally combine with your features? That's
oh,
all combined and inside of the program as well.
Oh, okay. So that let's say that is really this complete thing. It's not like, oh yeah, you can use these colors and that colors. It's
Oh,
really
no,
a
no. I
package.
don't leave you hanging like,
Yeah,
okay, you have these colors and you have these shapes and you,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, it's a real process. You get very specific advice on what kind of shapes of jewelry. I even by the end give you indications of places where you can buy certain items that you can choose to buy or not, of course.
Okay.
So you get a full,
Okay.
you get a
Yeah, but
full,
yeah, one of the funny things, I think, and then it's something that I really think sometimes is that when I work in fashion, like so, and I had
absolutely.
yeah, and sorry, I have something in my mouth. I had a friend of mine when I was working there that she will say to me, "It's funny because you always buy the colors that no one buys."
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So, and the funny thing is that they look good on you. So you
Well
go,
done.
and they look good on you. And for instance, the same thing with this type of thing, you know?
Yeah,
Um, maybe sometimes people say, ah, this is not really a thing because I don't know. I hear sometimes this like,
yeah.
oh, maybe you should go for gold. And I honestly, I put gold and I feel so wrong. So wrong.
Because silver is your color. You are cool
Oh,
toned. Silver, it's beautiful. So you have a very strong intuition and a very good eye. I'm celebrating that, Ligia.
yeah.
I am. Let's celebrate that. Because you chose silver. You naturally saw it when you were putting on gold.
I
Maybe
don't
you
like
were
it.
looking
I
like,
feel vulgar, honestly, to be very
right? It looks off. Yeah,
honest.
exactly. Of course it does, because you are cool toned, you are olive toned, and silver, it's a cool tone that matches your natural complexion.
Yeah.
So immediately when you put the silver on, you feel, oh, this is me.
Yeah, and
It's like loves alike. It's
yeah,
nature.
and even this strange things
Shapes.
that people say, oh, but why you use that? And it's like, yeah, but I think in me it suits me, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but
exactly.
it's interesting because it was not one time that I heard that, like, oh, but maybe in your position and on your, you should use gold because we'll give the impression. And I said, I feel, and the word is honest, vulgar. If I put
I can recognize.
uh, gold earrings or even, everything is silver. So
Yeah, yeah.
even my wedding ring, I said, I'm not going for anything that is not silver.
It's so interesting you speak about the wedding ring. My husband and I, we are both cool
Yeah.
toned. We have warm eyes, but we are both cool toned. And when we tried our rings as well, immediately we both look at it. Oh
Like,
man, this is not our color.
yeah, right.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
feel,
yeah.
but also sometimes you need to say, sometimes you're going to have people saying to you, hey, this may be but you need to also put it and saying, how do I honestly feel with this? Right?
So important. It's about you. It's
Yeah.
nobody else, right?
Yeah.
We tend, and especially with clothes and colors, we tend to inherit a lot from
Mhm.
culture and from the people around us.
Yeah.
I myself, I have a story with color before becoming
Yeah.
a professional, right? I thought yellow, warm yellow, mustard yellow was a color that I love. I still love it, but I thought it was my color because it was a color that looks amazing on my mother since I'm a child, right?
Yeah.
I looked sick in it,
Yeah.
sincerely sick. So definitely it's a color that is the color of my couch at home, but it's not my face on my
Yeah,
face.
exactly. Exactly. I also have that. Like some things I like, but in things, but I don't like to have it on me. Right.
Wear it, right?
Yeah, I don't like to have it.
Yeah.
One question. So what can you tell me what was for you the maybe you had a lot, but can you give me a story that you really felt like, my God, this is a different person?
Oh yes, I can very quickly. I had very several moments of those. I can tell you a personal story, and maybe I can speak about the client as well. Awesome, and they are very related. And it's about the moment I decide. I had this dream since I'm very young that for some reason, again, it's us, right? It's in our hearts. It doesn't need to have a rational explanation. That I was meant to cut my hair, and I used my hair longer for a long, long time. And
Yeah.
it's also part of my family. Women have luscious, gorgeous, beautiful long hair, and so everyone was very afraid. Oh my God, you're going to cut your hair, but then it's going not to look good. You're going to look like a boy, the whole shebang, right?
Yeah.
And I was terrified. But I had to take the leap and claim my power, personal
Yeah.
power back, and say, no, this is my intention. It's my dream.
Yeah.
Something tells me in my heart of hearts that it somehow will match better who I am. And I can only tell you that I cried when I watched myself in the mirror, not of sadness, but of happiness, of joy,
Yeah.
because I was seeing myself in the mirror as the woman, the power woman inside of me that somehow was hidden, and now I could see. I could see. It was not about others seeing it, right?
No.
Actually, because everyone else was telling me not to. But I was seeing myself in the mirror as that power woman, and
Yeah.
that was such a revelation for me.
Yeah.
And I had a recently another beautiful woman that she had beautiful curly hair, even curlier than yours, and all her life she didn't know she had curly hair. Can you imagine? She thought she had frizzy hair, and she had fought with her own hair for years and years. And whenever we would speak about hair, or she would say, "Ah, sorry, it's all messy, and I tried to comb it, but I cannot do anything about it." And I said, "Oh, her name. And then let's try, if you would like, if you feel the courage for doing it together with me, what about trying to figure out, because I have a feeling you have curly hair,
Yeah.
what about trying to take care of it as curly hair?" Believe me not, when she shows off her curls, her full expression changed. It was like she blossomed because finally she could accept herself in the mirror, and
Yeah.
she could find herself to be beautiful without having to tame herself, right? And that was such a beautiful moment,
Yeah.
that both of us could live, and I feel so honored to have been part of it.
Yeah. And I think that is all about that. It's like, if I need to think about, for instance, my white hair, and is really looking and said, "Oh my God, this is me,"
Yeah,
and
and it's
and,
beautiful.
and feeling like this is me, and I'm this, and I'm not, and for instance, sometimes I speak for myself, right? I'm highly exposed.
Oh,
Uh,
yes, of course. You
every
are
day,
in here right now as well.
yeah, and I'm every day speaking in front of groups, and and if I don't feel myself, I'm pretty sure that I will not be so good doing that, because I will always be looking for what I need to hide and what I need to pretend and what that I honestly think that that could be such a weight. For instance, I never use high heels.
Oh, me
Never,
neither. For presentations and on stage, I'm always on my flats.
never, never.
Always.
Yeah, and sometimes people say, "Oh, it's because you don't know how to walk with them." I said, "No,
Oh,
I
no,
was
it's
a
not the case.
model. I was a model somewhere in another life, so I know
And you
how to wear
danced
them,
as well,
and
so
I
for
dance.
sure you
Yeah.
know how to walk in heels.
Yes, I know how to do that, but it's not me. You know why? Because I speak and I like to move and I like to talk and I like,
Yeah, yeah,
so
we have that in common, I think.
I cannot go to do a presentation with something open until here, because yeah, I run the risk of
Everything will pop out.
oh,
I know.
because I move and I don't like to feel. And then, for
Yeah.
instance, the thing
Constrained.
with makeup, I don't like to feel like, and I cannot touch my face. I like to touch
Get you.
myself. So, and I think that when you do that, even if it's like a little bit different, or not everyone is doing it, like not having makeup or high heels or whatever, but if you do it because it's you,
Yeah.
that is power.
It is power. And I want to add to that, at the same time, taking the conscious decision
Yeah,
while knowing what the biases of certain decisions are.
hard.
Because I will give you the beautiful example of you standing in front of me today. Beautiful, luscious, feminine hair. Beautiful. I love it. Fresh complexion. And then you bring some structure. You have a structured shirt that immediately gives you a little bit of more authority feel to you. right? Brings a little bit of that masculine structure as well, right? Or you are still a businesswoman, organized. You have some jewelry which elevates you as well, a little bit more as authority. So again, all of those choices together, beautiful, because it's you stepping into your power.
Yeah, and I think I wish that everyone could feel that. Like, this is me, and this is what I bring to the table. And I bring it
Yeah.
not only with my brain and not only with my ideas, but I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yes, I am here. I'm fully present. I'm
Yeah.
embodied, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Super. So we are reaching out our time. Question: do I cut my hair or not?
Oh my God. I think let's take this offline and we will look at you.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just wanted to make it stressful. No, you don't need to reply. Okay, so I'm of course we are going to share with everyone where they can find you, your program. Everything is going to be available for everyone to follow you and to reach out to you. Last thing, what will be a message? What will be, if you have one sentence to send to the world, what that will be?
Oh, I love it. I think it summarizes a little bit of everything that we discussed, right? Do not sell yourself short. You are so beautiful inside and outside. You are so worthy. Do not keep yourself small by rejecting your embodied being. Try with little step and with someone that can support you and help you feel safe. Find out what you being your most powerful embodied presence means, and then see the world shift around you. See how the world starts responding to the beauty of your light, because we all need, as you were saying, sometimes someone different can open something in us and just tell us that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be empowered. It's okay to light your shine, right?
Yeah.
Your light. So we also give permission to others with our presence to be themselves. So that would be it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And
I loved our conversation.
I really hope that more people are willing to get in this power. Yeah. Thank you so much, and enjoy your time in Portugal.
Thank you. Have a great day, Ligia.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you for listening. The Coaches Next Door. And follow up. We have new episodes coming in. And every month you have a new episode that you can listen to. And remember, you can always share these episodes with someone that you think that could be a benefit or could feel a benefit from these episodes. And we will really like to receive also your comments and your questions. And if you want me to talk about something in particular that will fit you or your needs or your curiosities, please reach out by email, by a message, by a comment. I'm pretty sure you will find your way. Thank you so much, and we hear each other. Take care.